Hello, everyone. Jose Morales here for week four's discussion. So, question number one was just to give information from this week's readings. So, two out of the three articles were similar, and those were employee recruitment and selection and the recruitment and hiring process. They both pretty much outlined the steps of how to go about recruiting and then eventually hiring a candidate. So employee recruitment and selection, it was I guess, more detailed and it went more in depth on how to go about this. I'm not sure it was necessary to go too deep into them because they were relatively straightforward reads. Um, so, like I said, they outlined how to go about recruiting and then eventually hiring candidates. So it begins with the organization itself and its image and creating a sort of image and environment that would attract candidates. Um, let's see. So it did kind of outline how it started with that and then eventually planning. Um, talked about how the need to advertise. Um, then eventually narrow down the your uh, pool of candidates. Um, went over interviewing, pre-employment testing, avoiding bias and discriminatory comments or questions, to eventually, hiring, and then even made some suggestions on how to retain employees afterwards. Um, right, so it also did give suggestions on certain recruitment methods, such as using the internet, social media, job sites, company recruiters, or even recruiters from an outside firm. So to talk a little bit about the other article, which was reducing voluntary avoidable turnover through selection. Um, so this was an article about a study which intended to measure voluntary avoidable turnover. So it used biodata, which I looked up on Wikipedia. It essentially are facts about an individual, about their life or work experience, or even can include their opinion, values, and beliefs. Um, they also uh, they also used two clear purpose scales, which were attitude and intent to quit, and two disguised purpose dispositional scales, which were self confidence and decisiveness. Um, the biodata that they used was employee reference. So whether or not the employee was referenced to the job by an existing employee. Um, the other biodata was whether they have friends or family already in the job. And then lastly, it was their time, that the length that they stayed on their prior job. Um, so the findings of this study, according to the article, proves additional evidence that their theoretically relevant biodata, clear purpose attitude, and disguised purpose disposition relation to retention predict voluntary organizationally avoidable turnover. According to the study, the results show that some people may have the intention to quit even before starting the job. So let's see. Question number two was, can you? Okay. Well, part two of question number one was, can you think of instances at a current or recent job for which high turnover was a function of not hiring the right person? Explain context of the first article. Um, I guess I have some experience in my recent job where it was pretty clear that they didn't hire the right person, who did eventually end up leaving. Um, this person did not have the degree or the goals, or career goals which aligned with the opportunities that were offered at this job. Um, and then on a personal matter, I actually spoke to him, and he actually revealed to me that he had intended to quit after some time because this was an individual who had a business degree in a case manager role. So, he never had the intention of staying there for very long. And so I guess in his case, the findings of this art of reducing voluntary turnover article was held true because he did in fact have the intention to quit even before he started. So question number two was, have you ever experienced false advertising for a potential job? Well, I've never experienced false advertising per se. There may have been some information that was withheld from the job offer or job description before I took the job. So did not, or I wasn't notified that at the time there was there were two jobs being combined. So the case manager role, which I had applied for, or which I accepted, was going to have some additional responsibilities, which I was not informed of in the beginning or during the interview. So that might be considered somewhat of a false advertisement right there. Number three, why do organizations use unstructured interviews despite their relatively low validity? Um, so, from an article that I found on medium.com by Thornton, he stated that it could be due to a clear a lack of motivation on the part of an industry due to change its current practices. In other words, they kind of might be set in their ways, and might refuse to adapt, or might just feel that a job analysis necessary to um, bring forth newer methods might be too expensive. So that could be part of the reason. Um, all right. Well, that's it for me. Thank you.